Excellent. Okay, yeah, sorry. If you're on the YouTube, there are problemas going on there. I don't know why it's so different. All of the sessions I pre-scheduled for the whole month of October, the links, they don't work. And I don't know why. Maybe I got like a bug or something on it, but I can just do it if I want to come on. So the whole idea was so that people could get a reminder. Anyway, so welcome to Community Yoga Narada breathing and tension release class. So this is just a very simplified body release, get in touch with yourself, get in touch with your breath style class. For the month of October, we're sitting in a chair or a stool. So we're going to continue that, even though I'm sitting on the floor here. And yeah, so we're sort of gearing up with the breathing, and we'll do the breathing series. I did it standing last week, a little introduction to that. And this week we'll do that same kind of breathing seated in our stool. So we'll try and figure out, sometimes it's a little bit easier to feel the impetus of where your breath comes from at the very base of your abdomen, in your dantian, as we call it. So go ahead and get yourself set up with a chair or a stool, and yeah, nice and comfortable for your hips and your lower back. A stool is probably a little bit better than a chair. There we go. Any kind of little stool works. So sometimes I've used, just like a little stool that you use that you buy in like a hardware store or IKEA or anything like that. You don't have to get a fancy equipment, or you can if you want to. So we're going to find the sits bones here for a moment. So we're shifting in the sits bones side to side and letting that release come through the low back and the tail. And this doesn't have to be big. We're just trying to let the base of the spine have a nice release and breath to it from the start. We're going to bring our feet a little bit forward out on the floor. And you want your feet to be a little bit forward so that you are balancing in your center plumb line into your pelvis, rather than bringing your feet forward. And you're going to feel that you use your leg muscles to compensate for holding your body up, right? So your legs tense and your legs work to hold your spine erect. We don't want that. We want to bring the feet out to let the spine work within itself a little bit more separately from the legs, right? Not that everything's not attached, but we're going to just let that release come through the thighs. You can bring your feet wherever you feel comfortable, nice and wide, nice and relaxed through the shoulders here, and just letting your whole body, it's like you're nice and supported into the back of your body, letting your sternum soften. Sometimes it's really nice to bring one hand on your chest and one hand on your low abdomen, your pelvis. And then just let your breath relax and drop down into the base of the spine, into the base of the pelvis. You're going to feel a slight sense of maybe shifting in other areas. Maybe the neck and the jaw let go. Maybe you feel that you drop a little bit back into your alignment. Maybe it's a little bit forward. So you're just letting your body calibrate here, right? So we feel that plumb line energy. This is giving us a nice sense of ease in our alignment through the spine, which is always what we're looking for, right? So we're going to use all of the elements we can for the most efficient way to connect into the body. So try to just observe your breath with your palms here on your chest and your pelvis. You're just feeling how your body works. And try and find that sense of letting go through your breathing, like a nice sense of relief, or like you're lying down to go to bed from a nice long day. maybe not too long, but just long enough so that you're tired, you know? So sometimes when you don't do enough during your day, you're not very tired. But we had a good day, so we're just releasing. And then with that, just let your palms relax down onto your lap. Now we're going to continue with this breath observation and bring your palms onto the crown of the head. So you're just resting both palms into the crown and feeling that nice plumb line from the crown. Now this is a little bit more difficult to maybe find the pelvis. So we're going to just release through the low back and the pelvis. But maybe your breath comes in through the chest cavity a little bit easier because you have more lateral space freed up from taking your arms away and open to the sides. So we're going to let the breath in. And a long exhale. Breath comes in. And exhale. Then we're going to release the palms from the crown of the head. Feel that lightness release through the top. And then from here, we're going to take the palms together and just lightly glide forward and back, bringing up some breath into the surface of our hands, some heat, some energy, and really just kind of getting that release going in between the fingers. Still focusing on your breath from inside, coming up into your palms. And then from here, we're going to separate the hands and just feel that energy, that buzzing between your palms. Feel the breath from inside to out, open out into the space around you. And we're just going to breathe and swirl around. So we're just letting a sense of breath move us through, releasing and feeling that sense of expansion and support through the back of the body. And you're just kind of feeling things out, moving in any direction that feels comfortable here. Finding where you can support that release through the limbs, but still be really nicely, softly connected from inside. And then we're going to reach out, gathering energy from the space around through the palms, sensing it over the eyes, breathing into that. And then just washing over your face around the eyes, finding a nice sense of release and calmness flush through the face here. And then from here, we're going to take our fingertips, the middle fingers, or whatever works for you, and just take a nice massage exhale across the brow bone. We're right up on the brow bone, tracing and lifting up. So we're going to exhale and go along the bone, opening that space above the eyes, breathing into it, letting your face relax a little bit here. And then using the index fingers, we're going to go under the eyes along the orbital bone. So again, follow the bone line. So we're going to flush through the sinuses, finding that nice release and opening. Relaxing your face as you breathe into this release and opening. And then we'll take our fingertips into the forehead and just taking a nice little scrubbing up and down, moving the skin around, moving the lymph underneath the skin here, breathing into it. And then coming around to the outside of the eyes, the temples, very, very light circular massage here. Just lightly moving the very surface of that skin around, and then relaxing your jaw a little bit. We're going to travel down in between the upper and lower jaw. Now, because there's some tightness and tension held a little bit more here, you can use your fingertips to kind of poke around. It's called palpation, when you go a little bit deeper, like a poking into a tissue, and you feel a nice release with that. But you can determine how much pressure you use. It's your body. So you're just breathing into that and moving around. And you can explore around the whole jaw area between the upper and lower jaw. And then we're going to come up above the ears into our scalp. Now we're getting a nice lift. scrubbing in an upward motion above the ears into the scalp, kind of like you're washing your hair. And then we're going to scrub around the ear. So we're following the ear line around towards the back of the head, and then eventually coming all the way down into where the bottom of the head, the skull, and the spine meet, right? So now there's that nice little crease there, and some people might feel it more or less depending on your alignment there. But we want to feel, you can move, I'm moving my head a little bit so I can be a little bit more aware of where that is on my body. So now I'm doing a lateral motion and feeling that space. I'm breathing into that. Breathe into that crevice, crease, and feel that sense of expansion, or just like a sense of opening up here, and feeling that you can become more aware of length and freedom into the top of the spine and the neck. And then we're going to come close to the spine, and we're taking some circular motions, massaging down along the sides of your spine through the neck. So we're just breathing into that, traveling down the back of the neck until eventually you've reached the tops of your shoulders. And then we're just going to dig the fingers over top and sweep over. Take a nice exhale and sweep, release, and shake off any tension. And then going back again. And just breathing, taking a nice long exhale to let go. And shaking it off. And again, going back. And exhale, release. Releasing any tension in the neck over top of the shoulders and release. Now we're going to find that breath from the center midline, bringing us up. We're going to interlace the fingers. The breath from the base of the spine lifts you up from inside. So imagine your midline, the center line of your body. Your spine is aligned through your midline, right? So that gives you a proprioception of center, right? So we want to use that imagery to help us balance no matter what we're doing in space. So if we're tilted off to the side, we want to know how to bring us back into feeling more balanced. If we're tilted forward, any direction, it could be a combination of gestures, right? So there's always a proprioceptive awareness of where to go off of your balance and where to come back into your balance. And that's how you create balance. You create awareness. So you want to strengthen that, feel, and sometimes I say, imagine that midline has a really bright light, any color that you connect with, or that it moves, it's vibrant, it sort of emits or breathes. And we're just going to kind of wiggle through that line and kind of loosening up the edges. We're shifting around, finding a nice release through the hips and the lower back here. And then, so your arms, it doesn't matter how high your arms are, just feel that your arms lift from that support all the way down in the base of your spine. And then we're going to come back through center, relax the arms down, relax your tail under a little bit here. Take a nice circular sweep like a cradle. We're going to sweep around and inhale up and exhale over, around and forward. So we're breathing into our chest cavity through the side ribs and through the front, through the side and through the back. So we're going to inhale, and also think of your shoulder blades moving. They're pivoting and moving around the back of the ribs, kind of massaging in there. Inhale and up. And now we're going to change. Exhale over and soften forward. Inhale, making a little window with your elbow and up. And exhale. And around, inhale, side, and up, and exhale, over, and around, inhale, side, and up. Now feel that midline energy. Breathe in and up through your center midline, lifting, lifting, lifting out of your seat almost. Separating the hands, we're just going to breathe that energy through the midline and release the arms, but we're circling through the wrist just to breathe the palms open, letting the fingers release here. And then eventually just letting the arms hang down into a nice little V and then relax. Now we're going to bring our feet, I'm going to turn a little bit so you can just see. I'm going to round my low back a little bit here. Get a little tiny scoop through your abdomen and the bottom there. Use your hands like fists. And you're just going to drum into your sacrum, your tailbone, your lower back area. We're just breathing and drumming all around that sacroiliac joint. And then you can go into your glutes a little bit more here, breathing into the backside glutes. And now let's go up the sides of the spine, breathing up towards the kidneys and back down again. And then from here, we're going to just drop both hands onto the outsides of the hips. So the side back-ish area of our hips is where we have our greater trochanter. That is an insertion point of our hip socket. So there's a lot of stuff happening there, a lot of work going on. So we're just going to breathe and release there. Now we're going to go into an alternation from one side to the other. So we're just kind of swinging and dropping and breathing. So this is more from the back of the hip, finding a nice releasing. If anyone has done any Qigong, this is kind of similar. We're just sort of using that style of breathing into repetition to let go. And then we're going to come around the outsides of the legs. Now we have loose hands. Use the heels of your hands. We're going to take a fluffing motion on the sides of the legs where the IT bands are. And we're just kind of scooping and fluffing and letting the muscles really shake around here. We're traveling all the way down the outsides of the legs towards the knees. And then once we get right above the knees, where the quads, the quadriceps insert into the knees, we're just going to pat over the top to the inside and around, just sort of following that shape of your leg. And then we'll take nice little taps with our fingertips, dropping right into the kneecaps, feeling a nice vibration into the bones, through the bones, and travel down the shin bones, tapping all the way to your ankles and tapping back up the shin bones again. And now from here, we're going to lean back and use the heels of the hands just to get a nice flush from the hips down to the knees, a nice little sweeping through the quads, going a little bit again to the outside, a little bit to the inside. And then from here, we're going to bring one foot up, relaxing your heel, and just patting into the calves here. Letting your palms again bounce off. And release, letting go, and change to the other side. Nice little pat, release, breathing into that, moving things around. And then just relaxing from here. Now we're going to come back to center, lifting the body up. And now we're going to take a nice massage into the sides of the ribs. So we're going to inhale and feel the whole chest expand like a balloon, in and up. And exhale, release. And again, breath comes in. And letting go. Now we're going to take a nice massage right into the front hips, the groin area. Just breathing into that and flushing things around. And then up into the center of the chest, taking a nice exhale, a little scrubbing up and down, right into your sternum, just letting go of any tension that's holding on there. And now we'll take nice long flush strokes down through the center and underneath the sides of the ribs, getting up under the ribs on the side. And we'll come back through center, and under on the other side. And then just coming through center. Now, we're going to relax our arms hanging down. Take your opposite hand and just massaging into the front of your shoulder, letting your head hang over. You can let your head move around, but just breathe into that shoulder. You can keep your hand on your thigh if you want. And just kind of flushing through the lymph here. And then we'll relax and hang to the other side. And just breathe into this, letting this massage come through. And then from here, we're gonna just relax and drop one palm up over the shoulder and just getting a nice breath and release, swinging the palm, letting the palm release up over the top of the shoulder a bit if you can, feeling that your breath is traveling through your hand into the upper back, ribs and lungs, and just sort of becoming aware of utilizing that area of your body a little bit more. And then from here, we're going to relax the tail under. Let the breath take your arms up. So I'm not trying to just lift my arms, right? So feel inside your own body that the breathing energy that pulls up inside with your breath is what lifts your arms up, right? So that is our impetus for this movement. So we're going to relax here and hang. Try to find it. Feel the breath come from inside to lift you up. You're going to inhale. So the arms feel very light, opening and lifting up. We're going to let just the arms go. Exhale. And keep that length internally. And then soften the tail. Gather it all over again. So we want to feel the breath. Lifting us up. And we're going to let go. One more time, softening the tail. The breath comes in. So there's a sense of internally engaging to lift and release. Now we're just going to shake it all out. The shoulders, the elbows, the wrist here. Getting a nice release and shake off the bone. Letting go through the wrists. Breathing out. And then we're going to come around and interlace the fingers here and just getting a nice little compression and release through the palms. And you can kind of move the heels of your hands a little bit forward and back. And now relaxing in the hands, we're going to just roll through the wrist, gliding around, breathing out, letting your momentum guide you into this. And then taking that the other way, reversing it. And breathing into that, mushing around here. And then just letting go. Now we'll take each little finger. We're going to just find that center, the finger, the breath. We're going to let the breath from the center of the chest release the arms open and change. Find the breath to open. And again, relaxing the shoulders. And again. So we're not trying to go behind us, but there's almost a kind of, the shirt shows you, going up and out to the side. And again, changing to the other hand. Let the breath guide you. And find that lightness in your arms and your shoulders. And releasing. And again. And again. Now from here, we're going to let the breath in and expand the arms as we come up. Then we're going to take a nice long squeezing exhale. We want to exhale, squeeze through the fingertips, the toes, the eyes. We're scooping through the tummy and squeezing all of the breath out of our body that we have until we can't squeeze it out anymore. Feel light as you let the breath in and float the body open. And we're going to squeeze it out again, gathering and compressing. And breath comes in. And we're going to do this again. Long exhale, squeezing out, cleansing anything negative you need to flush out of your body. Floating open. On this last one, we're going to exhale but gather light new energy through the fingertips and toes, drawing that into your center, enveloping it, and just feeling a sense of openness as you gather that. And just letting the arms float up and releasing anything that was hanging on. So now from here, let's go ahead and just do a little bit of spotting. So we want to feel, let's take our hands to the back of the head, interlaced, and just find that nice release through the bottom of the head. You're not trying to push through the top, right? I think a lot of people don't want to touch their hair. I don't know why. But think of touching your head instead of touching your hair. So your hands are going to support the bottom of your skull so that your head can feel nice and soft and free. It feels quite nice. So your elbows can go wherever you like. I'm not going to do anything with the elbows here. So just feel that you're releasing that part of your body. You're expanding and breathing into your palms. Feeling that your tail energy lets go and lengthens through the low back tail. And just breathe like you're against a wall, breathing through the back of the body. And feel this breath through the back of the body. Stay nice and open and expansive. We're going to sweep the palms up and float the arms around and down, just resting your hands on your thighs. Now using that breath energy through the back body, we're going to open the eyes and let that energy in and up along the spine with the breath connect into your vision. So you're just going to breathe and look out. We're looking out and we're just kind of looking around the room, scanning the room, looking around to the side. Feel a sense of awareness internally as you scan around to the other side of the room. So we're just feeling nice and open and receptive and just sort of looking at everything around us until you get all the way over to the other side. Taking a new breath and then changing again, feeling that sense of length all the way up through the back of the head and out through the eyes. You can feel your vision open beyond the space you're in, like you're looking through the walls, looking out. And then again, using the breath to come back, feeling that openness expanding through the walls. And again, breath brings you back. We're going to come all the way back in just to center. We're going to take a deep breath in from the base of the spine. Inhale. Feel that breath gather in and up with your eyes closing, but try not to close your neck and your shoulders. So let the abdomen pull the breath in and up as the eyes clench. Sustain it just for a moment and then exhale, opening the eyes. And blinking, and then just taking nice little blinks and sweeps with the palms around the face, around the eyes. And then we'll just take nice little taps all around through the skull, breathing into that, letting that release come through. And then eventually getting a nice little sweeping motion through the back of the neck into the head, feeling that energy lift up through the back again. And then from here, if you feel comfortable, this is like for spotting, We're going to look side and side and just go a little slow and notice. See if you can notice what you're doing. Maybe your chin's going forward. Maybe your head's going a little tilty, right? We're just trying to find a nice even rotation as we turn. So the very top joint of our spine helps us go like this, up and down. The second vertebrae helps us go like this, side to side. So we're kind of loosening that up. Relax your jaw and just look side, look side, look side, look side. And relax your shoulders and just see what feels comfortable as you breathe through that. You're going to maybe lose your spot. Relax your jaw. You can get a nice little release here. Let the momentum build. And then eventually slowing it down and letting it go. Slow down gently and slowly. Don't stop all of a sudden without moving. Let it release. So now from here, let's go ahead and take one foot over the knee and just do a nice little hinging forward. And then we're going to bring that foot down, other foot over the knee and hinging forward, and then bring that down. So just to kind of move a little bit, now we're going to do some breathing while we find the sits bones, like we did when we're standing. Our sits bones are going to be our feet. So we're going to practice our sipping breath through that midline of the spine, drawing in and up internally. So your fingertips are going to go into your very low abdomen, below your navel, on the opposite side of your sacrum, right? In the front of your pelvis. This is what we call the dantian in this work. There are many different names for this area of the body in different modalities. So pelvic floor, so many different names that people have. So you're just going to connect into your center with your breathing and feel that your fingertips, your body, your tissue underneath your fingertips, you start to gather in and up along the spine and then letting it go. We're not trying to push or force. We're just trying to feel a response and feel the response deepen with our repetition. So we want to feel that we can get in there a little bit, right? And let it strengthen, let it condition and have some endurance to it. So feel at first that your sits bones push down a little bit to get a nice feeling of lifting up out of the pelvis. So we're going to start the sip by pushing the sits bones down. So we're more elongated. Our chest is a little bit lifted up out of the pelvis. We're going to keep this distance as we exhale. Breathe and scoop a little bit deeper into it. And let go. Since we're seated, you could probably go a little bit deeper than what you can when you're standing because we don't have some other things going on. So you can practice going a little deeper to feel your transverse abdominals connect a bit. If anybody has ever been told to work on that, a lot of us have been. So now let's try that again, finding the sits bones. As our impetus, the sits bones push a little bit down into the seat to get a beginning of that motor starting with the breath sipping in and up. So let your shoulders relax here too. Feel that energy from the bottom of your pelvis and your spine come through. Keep the length as you exhale. Deepen how the muscles connect. And then you soften and let go. Sits bones get us going again, sipping. Keeping this alignment, exhale. And now we're going to go again one more time, sipping in and up. Sustaining, going a little bit deeper on the exhale. And let it go. Now let the arms hang down around your sides. As the breath, that's still our impetus for moving. We're going to feel the breath connect in and up, the sip. The arms are going to float around and up from the breath. The breath is going to tell our arms to open and expand. Feel the sits bones slightly press down to get you going, starting your sip. Now you feel that your chest can open and expand and float your arms up more. We keep this length inside. As we exhale, the elbows gently soften forward. They kind of loop the arms forward, around, and down. Keeping that and then softening it. So let's find the breath again. Sits bones. Very light, massaging in the shoulder blades down. And exhale, suspending it. The suspension in and up along the spine should give you the support to softly release your arms. It shouldn't feel muscular there. So now let the breath in again, sipping. That expansion through the chest and the shoulder blades, just float and hang your arms upwards. We're going to exhale, releasing the elbows. So the shoulders are like a cradle, shoulder blades in the back, releasing and floating around and down. The chest is still floated up, and then it softens, we kind of let go. We're going to do one more, sipping in and up. And just feeling the strength of that midline energy into your body. And exhale, again, breathe through the midline. And releasing down. So now from here, let's go ahead and bring both feet all the way out to the sides really wide here. So we want to find the sits bones nice and wide, nice and relaxed through the heels here. And let's just take one palm. Your opposite hand is going to come across onto your hip. We're going to press down, turn the other palm up, inhale. Now we feel the breath through the side ribs. We're going to use this bottom hand, push down to go over. Use your bottom palm pushing down to come up and release and change. Breath comes in. Find your bottom palm. I'm not trying to reach through the top. It's that bottom hand making space so I can hang. And the bottom palm brings me back up. And release and change. Breath comes in. And exhale over. And breath comes in. And change. Breath gathers. And exhale over. And breath comes in. Push down to come up. And release. Now we're going to bring the feet around in front. We're going to come up to stand because we really haven't done anything with the legs because we've been sitting in the stool, which is why I personally don't love it. But we're going to, but I know that it's a really good start for some people. So you want to sometimes just focus on your breath. Let's hinge over. We're going to step back a little bit from the stool. You can determine how much you need, a little softening in the knees. Come down either on your elbows, or you can step back and hang through the spine here. You want to find that energy through the top tail end of the spine. It's really the bottom of your spine, but the top of your legs, right? So we're gliding the tail back and up so that there's this nice release and hang through the shoulder blades. And our heels are nice and long into the floor here. And just breathe into that contrast. You can kind of coax your pelvis backwards and upwards to get some nice traction into the spine, to breathe a little bit there. To come out of this, because it's probably a bigger stretch, lift your abdomen up. Just gather it so that you can collect yourself to come all the way forward and up. Now from here, if you're comfortable, you can use your stool or your chair to hang over, but if you're okay, to just hang your body all the way over the legs and just kind of shake out the legs here, relaxing. We're going to bend one knee, hang over that knee, and breathe into the backside hip. So there's a little shift in your opposite hip to heel. And then sway over to the other side, bending the knee, and exhale, shifting and breathing. And again, changing, bending that knee, and exhale and shift. And one more time, bending the other knee, and exhale and shift. Now we're going to come back through center, find a nice hang. And if you're okay with holding onto your elbows, and just letting go through your upper back neck here, breathing out, letting your body, there's a little bit of movement maybe, letting your body release. Try not to make it happen. Just let that trickling through your plumb line happen. Now we're going to lift the upper abdomen, lifts to the ceiling to help us roll up. Let go of your elbows. Feel that lift through the belly. Your tail is dropping down through the floor as you breathe in and up along the spine. As we get almost to the top, imagine you have that little pencil you're holding under your chin. Breathing in and back and up. Hold your pencil until you get all the way up, so that you can feel the relationship from your tail all the way up through your head. Now we're just going to do a couple, maybe three, a halfway roll down. We're going to articulate through the cervical and thoracic and then roll up. We're not going all the way to the floor from where we came. We're going to hold that pencil under the chin. Just let your arms hang. When we roll forward, let your arms hang with your body. Don't try to hold your arms and your shoulders. We want the traction and the weight to travel through. So you're going to gather, hold that pencil under your chin, and roll down. So you're going to feel your chin, your sternum soften, and you're just going to go right down into a little bit of a halfway hang where you feel a little bit more of a stretch there. Now breathe, hold that pencil, breathe in and back and up, like you're breathing against a wall to roll up until you come all the way up. Let the breath in. And take your pencil, gather and roll, and keep articulating through each little vertebrae until you find that nice little halfway hang. And gather your pencil, roll in and back and up. And at the top, let the breath in. We're going to do one more. And gather the pencil and over. So you let your sternum soften. You let your solar plexus soften. And you just hang over. Breath comes in and back and up, feeling the breath through the upper back neck, and your tail is drawn down through your heels and up. Now we're going to just soften the knees, interlace the fingers, find that midline breath, all the way from the heels, through the legs, through the pelvis, reaching up through the arms. Your tail is lengthening down to the back heels, and we're just going to kind of sway the hips over to one side and then up through center. Exhale, sway. Feel your tail draw down to that bottom heel. And up. And exhale, down to go over. And up. And exhale, down to go over. And up. And then just breathing through the midline, long tail down to release your chest up. We're going to suspend that energy through the center, breathing the chest open and floating the arms out, around and down. Letting the knees soften if you like, and just take a deep breath, lifting the shoulders up. And exhale, release. And again, so let's do a little clenching inhale. And exhale, let go. One more time, gathering up. And release. And just find that nice long tail energy. And just feel that tail nice and heavy and long. And let this take you into a nice walk, right? So we're just finding how the length and that support down through the back of the body helps us feel nice and open through the front pelvis and the chest, right? So there's not much work going on there. So excellent. So yeah, I have to figure out what's going on with my YouTube situation since everything I scheduled doesn't seem to click on. But anyway, same time, same place next week. I'll see you guys Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Any special requests? I'll do one more week of sitting on the stool starting. And then November will be standing breathing month. So all the stuff we did seated, we're just going to do standing and breathing. And then after that, we'll see where we go. I kind of want to do some things with a soft foam roller in this class. It's not typically what we use in this work, but I think it can be therapeutic. So that might be in the future too. All right. Thank you. Have a great week. Enjoy the fall, everybody.